and I could not do it. When I was drunk in Spain, I spent £22,000 of my money and bought 2 London Routemaster buses.
Having made a lasting impact or a difference, how do you think you've done that here in your nightclub?
The next morning, they opened the national BBC radio show with me singing Total Eclipse of the Heart.
Well, nice to meet you, John.
Nice to meet you. Nice to see you. Thank you for inviting me.
So what did you do last night?
Last night I worked. So I worked until 5 o'clock this morning in a nightclub in Bath, and then I got home, slept for 2 hours, did a bit of admin work for things that I needed to do for one of the other companies, and now I'm in here with you having a good old chat.
And if I'm not mistaken, you're going to work again tonight?
Yes, I have a private hire tonight. Plus it's also, at the time we're filming this now, it's the week before end of year. So in the UK, I don't know if it's the same in Romania, but the tax year is the 1st of April to the 1st of April. So we're all kind of doing end of year things at the minute. Targets, budgets, planning.
I see. So you're having a busy week at this time?
Very, very busy. I've got a very busy week this week, actually. You've got me at a week where, so today we're doing this, tomorrow I've got a photo shoot in Cheltenham. Tuesday morning I'm travelling to London, I've got a meeting first thing, then a conference. Then I've got an awards ceremony at the House of Lords in London. And then I am back Wednesday morning. I've got some training with team for a safety initiative that we're doing alongside the Bath Bid that I also sit on the board of directors for with that. And then we've got I'm filming with BBC Points West News on Wednesday evening. And I can't even remember what I've got for the rest of the week. But it's fun, I love it.
Sounds amazing.
It is amazing. I'm very blessed.
So tell me this, because you've said you work for the Bath Bid, you're involved with that, and you're involved with other companies as well.
Yeah.
But talking about Labyrinth for a second, the nightclub you run. So what's your job here?
So I'm site director here. So I am responsible for every single point of the club, whether it's safety, stocking, team, promotions, DJs, budget controls. So just every single point of it. And I've been here for 4 years and I love it.
4 years, so that was throughout COVID as well?
After COVID.
After COVID, yeah.
We opened just after COVID.
It seems like, again, you're involved with a lot of businesses. Taking a step back for a second, could you tell me a bit how you've got to do what you're doing now? And basically, what I want to understand is your path in life.
Okay. Oh God, it's a bit like the X Factor, you know, when they have them on there. And so the best stories have a sob story, okay? Mine isn't really a sob story. It's a sad situation because my mum, when I was growing up, was very ill. She ended up having both legs amputated. She had a number of strokes and heart attacks, and she was very ill. And I was a young carer, and I grew up quite quickly, but my dad was overseas. He was supporting the family and working really hard, and my mum was in hospital. She was in a care home. Now, if you think about it, a 15, 16-year-old lad living on his own in a house with no parents, I went wild. I was having parties. There were, you know, I was just drinking a lot from a young age. I was an absolute idiot. Honestly, I really was. I still am to some extent, but I had a very strong ethic of survival, but also looking after others, because I was looking after my mum. I was looking after the people that I was entertaining. So, you know, having friends around, and I was having parties at my house when I was 16 years old. I feel sorry for the neighbours. I really do.
Yeah.
And bear in mind, this wasn't a big house. It was a little end of terraced house in a mining village in the middle of the UK. And my mum I lost her when I was 19, nearly 20, I think. I think I was just 20, sorry. It was the January of me being 20. And I inherited the house that I grew up in. Now, you've got to think, these houses 25 years ago weren't worth a lot of money. Not now. My house now, if I was that I sold, would be worth 200,000, 250,000 in an area where there's nothing. At the time, I sold it for not much. And in my infinite wisdom, I booked a holiday the day that the money came in. And me and my friend Dan went to, funny story here. We went to the travel agents and I said, I'd like to go on holiday today, anywhere. And the woman looked at the computer and she went, you could go to Tossa del Mar. I went, what? She went, Tossa. I went, what? I went, we're going. Fine.
Okay.
I'm like, anyway, I'd never heard of this place before, but the fact this place was called Tossa made me laugh. So, you know what a tosser is?
I don't know, but it sounds like a fine name, to be honest.
Yeah. So a tosser is what you call an idiot. It's another word for wanker.
Oh, good to know.
But this place is called Tossa. Tossa del Mar, it's on the coast in Spain. So we went. On the way to the airport, I went and bought a suitcase. I bought clothes, and off I went. And me and Dan went for, I think it was a week, allocation on arrival. We got to the hotel, plastered. I don't remember getting off the plane and getting into the hotel. I remember crawling into the lift, and I remember playing the piano and singing with a bottle of champagne. And then in breakfast the following morning, we walked in and people were clapping. Bear in mind, I don't remember any of this. I was battered. And I at that point, I was like, right, king of the world. You know, I'd got money in my bank, not much, but being 20 years old, not caring. And I had been talking to one of my old school friends who, as exciting as we were librarians together.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, we revolutionised the library in school, and we said we would start a bus company.
Okay.
It was James's dream to start a bus company, but I love him and I supported what he was doing. And I also saw the excitement of what he was doing with it. So when I was drunk in Spain, I spent £22,000 of my money and bought 2 London Routemaster buses when I was drunk.
Double deckers.
Yep, the big red London double-decker buses.
Okay.
I bought 2 of them whilst I was drunk. Basically on the internet.
Good investment.
It was absolutely an amazing investment, but it made me realise, so we wanted to do something which was running a route that was our heritage route. Being in a mining village, we could never get out to anywhere. The bus company wasn't run well. It never gave the service you needed to do. So we wanted to do something different to that, you know. We did it. That's the thing. We did. We started with the 21 bus route, and we ran it with the route masters. We had so many issues. We had buses breaking down. We had issues here, left, right, and centre. Like, it was insane. Fast forward, I mean, bearing in mind I didn't have a clue what I was doing with the bus company. I was probably the worst person in the world to go into business with, doing a bus company when I know nothing about it, other than I travelled on one every now and again. But what I knew was how to have fun, how to market, and how to enjoy things. So I started using the buses as promotional vehicles, and I got a contract with Chris Moore's Breakfast Show with BBC, and the BBC hired the bus from us to turn it into a recording studio. And we did that in Leeds with Chris Moyles, and then we did work with Alton Towers, where we were advertising the launch of their new ride, which was Rita, which is a high-speed thing like Stealth at Thorpe Park. And we were then doing other bits and bobs with it. We were doing promotions for football clubs. And I realised that I really liked that side of it. So it was at that point where James and I were going in different directions with what we wanted to do. So I had one bus, and he ran the bus company. And I went off and turned a bus into a champagne bar and spent 6 months travelling around France on a bus, promoting England to the French, and then spent 6 months in England promoting France to the English as a promotions company. Bearing in mind, I think I also had about 30 jobs in between doing all this as well.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
That's
Jack of all trades, master of none.
That's impressive. I've got a couple of questions about that. One of the questions I wanted to ask is, you had no idea, well, you didn't know anything about how to run a bus company.
Not a clue.
All you knew was how to have fun and how to market things.
Yep.
So my first question is, how did you get that first client? And it was the BBC, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was listening to BBC Radio 1 whilst I was driving to the bus yard one morning. And they said, oh, you know, we're doing this Moyles karaoke in Skegness. And it was, I thought, that sounds fun. You know, radio, I loved Chris Moyles with the Breakfast Show. And so I literally phoned up Butlins and said, I want to book to come to this weekend. And me and a friend, Stephen. So Butlins, if you don't know, is a holiday park in the UK. And it's had a reputation over the years of being good, bad, good, and then it went really amazing. And it is, you know, it is amazing. One of my jobs was I worked as a red coat for a very short while, which is an entertainment host at Butlins. Very short while. It was one of my first jobs, actually. And then I went off to Butlins. I got absolutely plastered, drunk. I ended up singing Bonnie Tyler, Total Eclipse of the Heart.
Never heard the song, but fair enough.
You do, you know, turn around every now and then. Yeah,
Yeah,
you know.
Oh,
it.
I know it. I would sing it.
Yeah. And I sang that karaoke at the night.
Yeah.
The next morning, they opened the national BBC radio show with me singing Total Eclipse of the Heart. They'd recorded it and they opened the radio show with me singing it. And I had, as a marketing tool, half my hair was black, half my hair was white. So
and you're ginger.
Yeah, of course. Well, I wasn't at the time. It was black and white. It was like Cruella de Vil.
Yeah.
And so I got talking to the producers and I got talking to everybody. And then all of a sudden, they just, whilst they were on air, they just turned to me and got me up on stage because obviously they saw me and they were like, oh, Moggy was singing last night. Moggy was my nickname.
Ah.
They were like, oh, Moggy's here, so let's get him up. And so I got up on stage and I plugged the bus company and I said it was Midland Classic and I was like midlandclassic.com, and then my phone started blowing up. There was people going, oh my God, you know, I've just been listening in the shower and like all of a sudden you come through the radio, what's going on? But what it did was I had a meeting a couple of months later, and not even a couple of months, very soon after, and one of the producers of Radio on Alid had got my phone number from some people I'd given a business card to and phoned me up and said, we want to book your bus. So I went down to London, had a meeting with them, not a clue how this thing works. I'm thinking, oh, the BBC, they've got tons of money. Obviously they don't, it's taxpayers' money and they're very frugal. And so I went in with, I want 13 grand, I want this, I want the other. I ended up paying 3 grand, which again, 20 years ago was a lot of money. It still is a lot of money. But
yeah.
So then we did the thing, and then when we were doing all the events and everything, Chris started talking about the bus. So Chris Moyles was the presenter on it.
From the BBC?
Yeah, he was the head of the show, and he started talking about it. And obviously, I'm a gay man. And on national radio, he said, well, you know, Moggy, you know, he started off, wanted 13 grand for this. And then he goes, he soon went down 3 grand. He goes, well, not for the first time. So that just then started snowballing it again. And I used all these little clips and tidbits as a marketing tool to be able to promote to the next client and be like, we've done Radio 1. We worked, and it was little things. So our local football team, it was Burton Albion Football Club. They won in the football draw against Manchester United. So they ended up playing Manchester United at their home stadium, which is huge.
Never been, so I don't know.
It's a big thing.
Oh, okay.
It's a huge thing.
I see.
So we just ran a bus between the station and the stadium as a promotion to take people in for free to the stadium, because then everyone would see the bus and we'd get the word out there more. But what it meant was we then could say that we had done promotion at Manchester United game and Burton Albion game at the Pirelli Stadium. So you've got 3 brand names there that we could use. Whether we could or couldn't, I didn't care, I didn't know. It was just, we're doing it. And I think it was just being young and having that zest for, I'm going to succeed, I will not fail.
How old were you back then?
21, 22, 23 maximum.
23 maximum, okay. And that advertising you did, taking people from one point to another to the stadium, was that your actual first client, or is like?
No, BBC was the first client,
sorry, and then,
but then this one we did as like a freebie.
Yeah.
And then that got us more things, and more, and then James started focusing on the actual bus routes, because that's where the money is. You know, it's clients come and go with it. It's pockets of money. You're always fighting for the next client.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the bus itself, even after I finished, you know, it did a contract with O2. It got converted to an O2 vehicle and went round. You know, it then became a Scottish tour bus. It's done so many different things, you know. And for me, setting up that in memory of my mum,
yeah,
that vintage vehicle is going to live on a lot longer. I mean, technically it's lived 30 years longer than my mum, but, you know, that is going on, a 1962 bus that's still going strong. And, you know, that for me was the legacy of it all. It was doing something different.
And just going back to the first client a bit, because I'm a bit confused. Sorry for that, you might have to repeat yourself. So what did you actually do for the BBC? They were your first client. So what was it that you actually did with them?
They had a bus.
Yeah.
We took out all the seats.
Yeah.
We built the recording studio inside the vehicle.
Yeah.
And Chris Moyles and the BBC radio show broadcast live off the bus in the centre of Leeds, with a huge stage next to it, all branded up with the band Embrace, and then his mum and dad and his friends and everything were on the bus. We then stripped out the recording studio after the broadcast had gone out live. We then took the bus around Leeds with Chris and the team on it.
Sounds fun.
It was fun.
Do you miss it?
It was great. No, I don't miss it.
No.
I miss travelling. I miss the randomness of that. But doing clubs, it's what's always been in my blood. It's always been my passion.
Do you still see it? Have you seen recently your bus? Or
No.
one of the 2 buses? No?
No, I have Googled it. I did look.
Yeah.
So we started off, it was RM1168. That stands for Route Master 1168, which I think, remembering correctly, it was 799UXA was the registration number, and RM1305 was 799UXA. I might have got those two the wrong way around, but they were the 2 start. And mine was called Anne, after my mum, which was RM1305, and RM1168 was named Jim, after James's granddad. So that was why we kind of had this affinity to those 2 vehicles. So, yeah, because that was the humanisation of it. We wanted it to be a bus route that people could actually be listened to. That human touch of, well, we're going to run it properly. We're going to make sure your buses turn up on time, that they're clean, that the drivers are friendly. I mean, bus drivers, I do love them, but it is quite difficult when you sat on your own doing the same route going round, and you've got people yelling at you, and you've got people not wanting to pay, and they suffer a lot. They really suffer a lot.
I'm guessing you see this to this day as well now.
I still see. I always stop. I always let buses pull out.
Well, it seems like you've done. I mean, sorry to hear about your mom.
No.
Absolutely, and I think you did a very nice thing, and in memory of her, you named the bus stand, so absolutely amazing. Yeah, very nice thing to do. So going back to the main question was about what's your path in life? How have you got to do what you got to do now, and everything that led to it?
I genuinely. So.
Because you did a bus company,
Yeah.
right? What you do after?
Honestly, when I say I've done so many jobs, I spent so many years running from myself,
Okay.
from who I was. I spent so many years caring about what people thought about me, being in love with the wrong people, like literally just, first of all, the wrong sex. Originally, I was in love with a girl. She was so sweet, but obviously I was just not in the head's frame for that. And then toxic relationships, and I've never actually been able to get into a relationship that's been a long-term partner. So, such as I've never spent a Christmas with a partner. I've never been on a holiday with a partner. I've never bought a car or a house with a partner. So every time I've moved and every time I've gone from A to B to C to D to E to like blah, 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 I've always been, if I get close to somebody, I'll then run away. Or if I get comfortable, I'll run away. Or I've just never let people get close to me because I've always ran from something. And I think it was COVID that just made me realise I'm not going to run anymore. I want to find out where I want to be and what I want to do. And I went to try a job after COVID that I thought was what would be a career for life.
Okay.
And it was not for me. It wasn't for me. So my path has been staccatoed with, I mean, if I reel off some of the jobs I've done.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll explain things for the sake of you and your audience in case people don't know. So Butlins Redcoat, as in holiday, an entertainments person, which, like I say, was very short. And I'm talking, I was there training, left after. Okay. I radio advertising sales.
Yeah.
And media, sponsorship and promotions with that. So radio airtime sponsorship. I was good, but I found I wanted to be on the radio. I didn't want to be selling it. So a bit difficult doing that. I worked as a store manager for Ann Summers, which is a high street, female orientated adult store. But it's more mainstream commercial, selling women's lingeries and sex toys.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
I started off on a 14-hour contract with that in my hometown, Burton-upon-Trent. Then went up to working for the Stoke-on-Trent store and moved that up a banding. And then when the manager from there left, I ended up being the assistant manager running the venue. And then another manager came in and I just didn't see eye to eye. So I went. I worked in McDonald's.
You were at
McDonald's was my first ever job. When I was 16, McDonald's was my first job. All I wanted to be was on the counter serving people. And do you know what the truth is? Okay, I turned down an apprenticeship type role to actually, it was in musical theatre as a theatre production person.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I turned down that job to work in McDonald's because that was my dream job at 16, to work in McDonald's.
To work in McDonald's at the till.
Yeah, I wanted to work on the till.
Yeah.
And do you know what? They never let me off chicken side.
Why?
Nobody wanted the ugly fat ginger kid on the front counter. They were all hot. They were all beautiful people. They were all the cool people on the front in McDonald's. You know, the sweaty, pimply, fat one at the back going with like chicken and flipping fries. Okay, they used to dilute the orange juice when I worked there. I mean, I'm 43 now.
Yeah.
So you think when I was 16, how times have changed with McDonald's. You used to get orange like concentrate in this freeze bag that you'd put into this big white jug and then fill it with water. Okay. Well, if I was out the back on chicken side, I'd be drinking out the jug. So honestly, it was horrific. And I was ill and I couldn't go into work, and they went, "Well, you're gonna have to come in." I was like, I've been sick. I'm not somebody that's going to call in sick. I am ill. They made me go in, and I was there, and I remember sweating and being sick, and I went off and I was sick. And I thought, I'm not doing this. So in my McDonald's uniform, I stood up on the counter at the front of the restaurant, shouted, "I've got sickness and diarrhea. I've been handling your food." Hopped off the front of the counter, went out the front doors, and never went back again.
Never went back again.
No.
Yeah.
So I went home wearing the uniform, left my clothes. God knows what I left, but I just thought that was hilarious.
Wow. Takes a lot of courage to do that. Yeah, not so many people do it nowadays. Liberates you though.
Yeah, it did. It just made me realise. I think I'd written a resignation note, because when you need to hand in a resignation, I think I wrote it on a bit of till roll and slammed it on the counter. So
as you're leaving.
Yeah, I think I just like threw it on. I just remember doing that. Because I tried to hand my notice and they went, "Well, you got to give a week's notice." I didn't.
You didn't?
No. And with my first pay packet,
That's so
okay, I bought a lava lamp.
A lava lamp.
Yep. You know, they're the lamps that have the wax in it that light up and then move around.
Yeah, I know what. They look cool. When I was a kid, I really liked them.
Like, you know, you're 16, your mum's in care, you're having parties at your house, and you need a lava lamp.
You have a lava lamp.
Gotta have a lava
right
lamp.
after McDonald's.
Yep. It was awful. I mean, because then I realised that I could never go back into McDonald's again.
Not that McDonald's.
There was only that McDonald's.
There's only one
time.
McDonald's?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
At that time, there was only that McDonald's.
Wow.
Like, near to where I lived. It's not like nowadays where they're everywhere. There weren't drive-thrus, there weren't,
Uber Eats, Deliveroo, no nothing.
Nothing like that. No internet.
No internet.
No mobile phones.
Oh yeah, true. So you never went back in?
No, I've been back in since, obviously.
Oh. To be fair, you've lost a lot of weight since I first got to know you.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that's probably the McDonald's that brought on the type 2 diabetes. But thank God for the Manjaro.
The orange juice and
In the orange juice,
The orange juice, yeah. So you said you turned out, you got a job after COVID, which you didn't like any.
Yeah.
Yes, what was that job?
It was working on a holiday park.
Oh yeah.
It was actually working on one of Europe's biggest holiday parks.
Oh, okay.
And I was complex manager. So I was in charge of any food and beverage outlet. So the late night venue, the night side of it, a mobile chicken shop, an ice cream store, a stir fry restaurant, Papa John's pizza. Was it Papa John's? No, that was Haven. That was with that another job. It was a fish and chip shop with a pizza press store in it, children's arcade, nighttime venue with bars. The shop, but they didn't report through to me. That was a separate thing. There was a lot.
There was a lot.
But it was after COVID,
Yeah.
when there was still social distancing, and everyone had built an app during COVID to do it, but it was still teething problems, and everyone was holidaying in the UK because of not being able to go abroad. And you had a lot of people who were socially awkward because they'd been locked up for so long that were awful. They spoke to me and my team like absolute. And I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I'm not ashamed. I've never been ashamed to point out where my mistakes are. And
Yeah.
I could not do it. It was depressing me. And again, I said to myself, why am I doing this? So I phoned up a good friend of mine and I said, I want to come back and work for you. And he said, well, I'm buying a place in Bath. Do you want to come on board? He goes, listen, you can become a director of Bath. I'm like, I'm in. And that's it. I think I was in Bath within 4 days. I just had to get away from there. I hated it. The funniest thing was,
Yeah.
there was a chef at the holiday park that was one of the reasons why I couldn't be there, because
Okay.
they literally did nothing, walked around like they owned it all, didn't cook anything, pointed at everybody, bossed them around, and then they didn't know that I was leaving. And they came in and they put a complaint against me because I had made them feel stressed because I asked them to actually do some work.
Wow. Okay.
So I sat in the main complex office, bit unprofessional, but it's funny. And I went, oh, before I forget, because they were leaving, I went, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
And they went, I'm going to be putting a complaint. I went, don't give a shit because I'm leaving.
Nice.
Literally, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
And for me, at that point, that one moment,
Yeah.
something in me made me realise that I'd found my voice. Instead of sitting there going like, oh, I'm sorry that you are leaving because you're projecting negativity onto me when I've been nothing but good to you.
Yeah.
I thought I'm going to stand up for myself.
Yeah.
And I did. And now I'm just blunt with people. I try not to be rude,
Yeah.
but I think sometimes people can misunderstand my bluntness with honesty, whereas I'm being honest with somebody and my delivery to them is a bit more difficult.
Yeah.
But just be honest with people. Because I was a bullshitter when I was younger for a long time. Honestly, awful. Because I didn't know what was going on in my own head. I didn't know what I wanted. So I was going from job to job to job to job, and I was making things sound better than they were
Yeah.
to make it better. I was marketing myself,
Yeah.
but I was making myself look like an idiot. And that's it. Now it's just be blunt, be honest. You can't be anything more than who you are. And with social media these days, just be honest, because people could turn around and if they start saying, oh, well, you did this and there's that, I'll be like, yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I'm proud. Do you want the photos? There's that.
To help. To be absolutely honest here, I totally agree with that approach. I like being blunt to some degree, not trying not to be rude. And I think nowadays, you see it. I want to say everywhere, people misunderstanding what you're saying,
Yeah.
or overreacting to whatever it is that you said to them.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's helpful.
It's not.
It's not. And yeah, generally I'm all for this approach. Blunt, be honest.
Yeah.
Here's what I mean. Yeah, I think there's a problem at this point in time where people are kind of overreacting over everything. And we're going to get to that in a second.
You will always offend somebody by what you say.
Yeah.
Someone will always agree, someone will always disagree. And with social media and news and everything, you've got to think, go back to when I was probably your age with it. Now, going back to then, the internet wasn't as widespread as it is. I mean, it was the World Wide Web, obviously. But, you know, I would be talking to people on Microsoft Messenger or ICQ or my BlackBerry at that time. Okay, all things you're probably like thinking, what is this old man on about? But, so BlackBerry was a device like Nokia phones and all that.
My dad had BlackBerry. I
Well,
know all about
there we
BlackBerry.
go. Wonderful. So, you know, and ICQ was like the Microsoft Teams of the day, and the Messenger kind of thing that you'd have now is like WhatsApp. So with the whole World Wide Web thing, you've got to realise that the internet now is opened up to everybody, and if everybody is putting their opinion in, whereas when I was your age, there was less people able to give their opinions, because not everybody had access to the internet, or everyone wasn't as accessible all the time. So now people will be sat on a bus going, I think that this is absolutely abysmal, and then, they've said it. But then the next day their attitude might be different, or their mental state might be different, or they might be sober, or they might have been in grief, or there's so much emotive behaviour going out there. And I see the worst of it in real life with the clubs. But I get it online, and I get it in real life. I get it constantly. I get happy and negative all in one go. Whereas when I was younger, it was so much simpler. Because if somebody didn't like you, you didn't see them because they avoided you, or they came up and like, they were like, I don't like you, and I'm like, I don't like you. Well, that's right then. What are you going to do? But it was dealt with. Now somebody might 3 months down the line suddenly think, oh well, I'm not happy about that. It's a difficult time, and I understand that people who are on their own path in life now are on a completely different trajectory and a different path to what I was on and what people in generations before me were on. And it is difficult, but it's changing. You know, look at people in 1940s, they were going off to war.
Yeah.
You know, there were people your age, I'd probably be dead already. You know, you'd be in war. You know, all these kids that are coming to the club now, 18, 19, 20, and younger, they'd be fighting. They wouldn't be sat at home on the computer because it just wouldn't be allowed. So I understand it's difficult paths that people are walking down now.
Yeah, I totally agree, and we'll talk about that in a second as well. So now you're working for Labyrinth. Well, no, you're the site director of Labyrinth, which is part of a nightclub chain.
Epic Bars and Clubs we are.
That's it.
Yeah.
So throughout your story here, I've noticed kind of a pattern, or maybe like a theme that's been emerging, and that's been about marketing, taking care of others, taking care of yourself, also looking after others, and generally having fun. So what I want to know is, because I think I have an idea about what your answer could be, but I'm wondering, what do you think is the one thing that's the most valuable thing about you? What's the value you bring to, say, the business you're working for right now, given this theme emerging maybe? Or something else?
I genuinely don't know, because I think it's a really good question, because to shine a spotlight on somebody, you can turn around and go, well, I'm good at this, I'm good at that, I'm not good at this, I'm not good at that. But I don't purport to be, I don't even know that's a word. I don't...
Just created it.
Yeah, I'm no better than anybody else. And nobody else is better than me. We're all equal, and we're all good at what we do or how we all live our life. Because your parents and my parents are totally different. They're totally unique. And it's their first life too. Yeah. It's their own string and their own path they're walking on. Now, for me, for somebody to turn around and say, you've made a mistake in life.
According to what standards? To your own standards?
Yeah. You know, I'm not Genghis Khan. I'm not Princess Diana. I'm not Michael Jackson. I'm not bloody anybody. Yeah. I am me. You are you. I meet 2,500 people a week. Yeah. Who are all on their own path. Yeah. They're seeing me for a moment. They're seeing a star. When we look at a star, it's dying. That light we will never see again. It's gone. So I'm seeing lights in people all the time. And I'm seeing moments of people. I'm seeing snapshots of people. I'm seeing people, when they're shouting in my face upstairs, I'm seeing them for that moment. Yeah. I'm not seeing that they might be looking after a disabled parent. They may be in an abusive relationship. They may be multimillionaires. They may not have £5 to their name. The thing that I want from my life is, I don't want to die not having made a difference. That's it. Okay? I want to be remembered as being somebody that actually did something different, somebody who cared. Yeah. Not somebody that sat in the shadows going, oh, I'm scared, or I'm not going to live. Yeah. I want to be someone that says, come on, I'm going to drag us all out into the light. Let's go have a dance, let's have fun, let's have a drink, let's have a tea, coffee, water, beer, cider, champagne, whatever. But let's just be social.
Yeah.
You know, there's too many people that are alone. There's too many people out there that are scared. There's too many people out there that are hiding behind whatever. I'm not one of them. And I think that's what is my strength. I'm just going to be me.
Having made a lasting impact or a difference, let's stick with that for a second. What do you think? How do you think you've done that here in your nightclub?
I listen to people.
You listen to people.
I might not always agree with them.
Yeah.
And I spend a lot of time listening to a lot of crap.
Yeah.
But if somebody has the time to talk to me, I have the time to talk to them. And if somebody's choosing to come to my club, I'm happy they're coming to the club, because I want to provide a happy, friendly, safe environment. I use those three buzzwords quite a lot because it is the mantra that I do kind of portray into it, that I want to be the happiest, friendliest, safest club that there is and what there can be. But it's just listening to people, talking to people, listening to people's ideas. I get told, oh, your music's crap. I'm like, okay, we have 3 DJs on in the night.
Yeah.
And I've put on Google reviews before where people have put negativity and things. And I've said, listen, find your vibe. If this venue's not for you, or this music's not for you, or this night's not for you, or anything, please go somewhere else. This is a club in a city, in a country, on a continent, in the world.
Yeah.
Go and find your place, find your people. Just don't berate the people who choose to come here and come to us.
Yeah. Sometimes you wonder, why is it so easy that you can say so much negative stuff on the internet, or even in person, when you can just, right, I don't like this nightclub maybe, or I don't like this thing. Well, let me go find the alternative, because there are alternatives.
Yeah, absolutely.
So why is it so easy that you just say something really bad?
Why is it when people go, oh, I've had a bad time, I'm going to go put a 1-star review? Because everybody knows that people do that.
Yeah.
They're the people that look like the plums by being, I mean, somebody the other week put on, I reply to all of our reviews, and I reply to them honestly. And somebody put, I was kicked out of this club for sneezing. Okay, give it a 1-star. I was kicked out for sneezing.
Okay.
Absolute rubbish. So I just replied back with, oh, bless you. Because, I just thought it summed up the sneezing, and also summed up with them, really? Has your life got to the point where you've got to put that? Like, bless you.
Yeah.
And that's it. I don't even care for reviews.
Yeah.
I actually find it hilarious. And I have a lot of people that say to me, I go on to your reviews at least once a fortnight to see if there's anything new for your responses. Because they know that I'm being honest with people, and they actually then enjoy the fact that I will just gripe back a little bit.
Yeah.
And, I do wish that, and I always put on there my email and my phone number or anything, say, reach out to me. If there's a problem, contact me. If you don't feel that you're happy talking to me, talk to my assistant managers that are in the venue, talk to the police, talk to the council, talk to whoever you need to talk to. It's an open door with it. Like, communication is 2 ways. If somebody has an issue, ask, because we'll talk to them.
Yeah.
But I'll be honest.
I like that about you, I think. And I've seen the reviews, I've seen some of the reviews, and I've seen your responses. And I think you're being honest. I think you're not being rude, and I think it's just it's a fair approach.
The difference is, I will not drink a single drop of alcohol if I'm working at night.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't look a parent in the eyes or look at somebody and say, I was drunk whilst looking after your partner, son, daughter, brother, sister, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
So I'm always 100% sober.
Yeah.
But the people that leave the reviews aren't. So, and that's why we have audio and video recording upstairs, and, we have amazing CCTV for safety, but also the prevention of crimes, and just, it also backs us up with things. So when security have body cameras on, it's for their safety and the safety of the person that they're talking to.
Yeah. Because I can be drunk, I can come up to you and say a lot of crap.
Oh, absolutely.
And then turn around and say, I didn't say that.
Yeah. you know, it's funnily enough, whilst we were setting up this morning, you witnessed somebody coming in to pick up an item of lost property.
Yeah.
And, well, you say to your audience how I handled that.
Yeah, so it was a very interesting thing. So this kid came in with his girlfriend last night, and I'm guessing they had fun. They were a bit drunk, and when they left, he forgot to take his coat. I don't think he put it in the cloakroom, did he?
Yeah, no, he'd put his coat in the cloakroom, but he'd lost his ticket. So,
yeah.
And they didn't want to wait till the end. And our policy is you wait till the end of the night, or you come and collect it another day. We give them a card for lost property, because we're keeping their items safe, and we then know that person is that person. And it just keeps all the items safe, which is why we don't lose items.
Yes.
Because they're here.
Yes.
And so, carry on.
Yeah, so we had misplaced it, and you guys obviously gave him the card with all the details, all the information on, and he called you back whenever he called you.
He left a voicemail at
yeah.
like 5:30 this morning.
Exactly, sound crazy. So after the club was obviously shut down, he didn't come back, he didn't want to wait, so he just left home, I'm guessing. And he calls you, leaves a voicemail. He goes on and on about how he forgot his code, how you guys gave him, he said it was a gift card, not even a, I guess an information card, whatever you want to call it. And then he goes on and says, something, I'm going to bring shit to you.
Yep.
Yeah. It's like really random, and this just goes to prove it's so easy, obviously drunk, it's so easy to be mean or just leave a bad review.
Yeah. But then when he phoned up this morning...
And then when he phoned up this morning, he didn't even remember. He was actually quite surprised, like, oh, I didn't say that.
And but me being blunt, you saw how I was with him, where I was just literally going, like, do you remember the voicemail you left me then?
Yeah.
Yep, saying you're going to rain shit on me or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And he's like, what? Like, I'm like, listen, I said, I'm just letting you know now, used to it, this happens all the time. Don't worry, we've got your coat. I'm actually in the venue now if you want to come in and get it. But how many nightclubs will have somebody in on a Sunday after a Saturday night trade where the club's already clean, the bars are already stocked to trade again, and the person that runs the club is already up, awake in the morning, dealing with stuff.
Yeah.
That's me. That sums me up because I care.
Yeah.
I could go home right now, be sat like with friends, I could have people over, I could go on holidays, do whatever, not care.
Yeah.
But do you think I'd have the same people coming to the venue? Do you think we'd have the happy, friendly environment? Not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all.
And I think from personal experience, obviously I've been to Labyrinth, and I've been to our clubs in Bath, and I've worked for Labyrinth as well for a period of time, I guess.
Yeah. So so Luca was dealing with the VIP bookings and everything until he went on to astronomical success in his career now.
Yeah, thank you. And I think, going back to what you said earlier, making a difference in people's lives and just a long-lasting impact, I guess. I think generally, and obviously this is my view on it, I think the difference between your venue, your approach, your personal approach, you're always up there outside greeting people, helping everyone, and dealing with all sorts of situations, to be honest. I think the main difference between this club and every other club I've been to, I think it's been the human touch of it, and the fact that it seems you actually seem to listen, to care, and even if someone turns around and says, oh, but you didn't do that, or like, oh no, I got kicked out because I sneezed, it's like, okay, fine. You listen to it and you try to help them. And I think with our clubs, from what I've seen, again, my own experience, is they just don't really care. They try to care, but they don't. At the end of the night, they just kick you out, call the police if necessary, escort you out with the security, and then that's it. And I think it's gotten a bit better in the city, but I think that's only because you came here and you modeled it. Obviously, I don't know what was before, but I've seen at the beginning where Labyrinth was, and I've seen other clubs, and my experience from what I've seen is, again, those clubs weren't really doing it. You guys were doing it, and slowly but surely, some of them have started doing it as well. I think
you've got to realise that we came out of COVID, and nightclubs are in a completely different world. everyone was struggling.
Yeah.
Everybody was really fighting for the business, and everyone had been locked up, so everyone was coming out.
Yeah.
So there was this huge moment of everybody going back to clubs. You know, let us dance. We want to dance again. That's it. You want to be there. There's, you know, we can get close to people. You know, we can hug our friends. We can get drunk and we can go out. All of these things led to something which was a phenomenon that I don't think we'll ever see again in our lifetime. It was just a huge boom of it all. And every single operator of clubs was out there saying like, okay, right, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And I've got to say, Bath is probably one of the happiest, safest places that I've ever lived in. It's like being on holiday every day. And there are so many good operators that are doing businesses, so hospitality, restaurants, cafes, bars, pubs. I see that. Like, people think with nightclubs and with bars and everything that everyone's a competitor, we're all there. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. We all do our own things, okay? The other venues in the city will say to people, look, we've got a queue tonight that's an hour long. Why don't you go across to there? You know, this club's around the corner, this club's down there. Why don't you go there? Come back in a bit if you want to. Oh no, some people will be like, no, we're going to wait, we want to come here. That's their prerogative. Not an issue at all. But I wouldn't stand in a queue for 2 hours, and there's no need to stand in a queue for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Pop around, go and have a look around with it. But just enjoy it, because we get a lot of people, they'll turn around and they'll be like, if we've got a queue, they'll jump out of the queue because they're going to go off to the pub, and they leave one person in the queue, and then they come back and they expect to push in. And I go, no, you can't do that, I'm sorry. And they're like, why? My response is always, I try and make it human, but I always try and make them understand it. I go, listen, it's not Thorpe Park. You know, if you were to be on the queue line for Saw, which is a cage that you're in the whole way round, and you've left the queue, you can't walk past everybody to snake your way through to get back to your friends. You know, it doesn't work like that. And we're the same, because it's respect to the people that are behind you, because if they see people pushing in, that's that. And I get into a lot of kerfuffles with people about that. And if they're going to then start arguing with me and kicking off with me, I just say to the whole group, listen, why don't you go to another club tonight? Because I'm not going to let your friend in. Yeah. Because of how they're behaving. Yeah. So I know you've waited a while. I'm really sorry. Now they have two choices. They go, okay, I'm really sorry. They go off to another venue because they've been an idiot. Or they go to the back. And if people turn around and say to me, they go, well, they're a vulnerable person that's on their own. I go, okay, you can get to the back of the queue with them. It's a two-way street. Yeah. Yeah, but we're here. Yeah, but your group have decided to separate. Now you've just put this onto me that your friends got to come back in here. Why did they go? Oh, they went to go and meet another friend and have a drink here because they didn't want to wait. That's not my fault. But in their eyes, it is my fault. Yeah. But I would just be honest and put it back to them saying, well, you can go with your friend and stand at the back of the queue and then you're together. Yeah. Oh, no, I don't want to do that. So now it's okay. Now that you've got that responsibility, you don't want to do that. Yeah. So that's just a really crap example. But I think it humanises the point of people will do what they want to do to a point. Yeah. And then they won't do any more. Yeah. Which is human nature. Yeah. We're not here to serve anybody else other than ourselves or our families or our partners or whatever. But some of us care. That's the difference. And I am obsessed with this venue and the company and the place and the business that we've got. Yeah. But that's me. Yeah. Take me out of this, the venue will still be here. Customers will still come. As long as that energy is still there and that people are still enjoying it. And that's what I love. Creating something. Having the house party that people want to come to. Yeah. It sounds like you've got a really good thing going. Thank you. Yeah. So another question I really want to ask you is, and it might be a really cliche question, but in terms of strategies or approaches, if you want to call them,
what have you found in the, because you've been here 4 years, you said?
Yeah, 4 years.
Yes, and obviously after COVID, so everyone wanted to come out and party. Now that has evolved a bit throughout the years. So the question I want to ask you basically is, what are 3 approaches you've looked at to help you improve your business here?
Just listening to people.
Listening to people.
Yeah, listening, looking. Prime example for me was when I opened up the venue, I wanted to get a photo booth.
Yes.
But because of the shape of the tunnels in it, it wasn't possible to have one in it.
Yes.
There was no space. I could have had one here against this back wall, but it wouldn't fit. Could have had, there was just so many issues.
Yeah.
I had a company come in after about a year and a half, 2 years, and begging them to come in. They came in, no, I can't do it. And I was getting so frustrated. And then I went to another company. I said, listen, you're going to have to build a bespoke photo booth.
Yeah.
But I really think that you should have a photo booth. Here's the space where I want it, and it was by the front door.
Yeah.
And because I sat and thought about what I want. So many places will put a photo booth in a venue, but you never know it's there. Because it's in a back room that's not opened half the time, or it's in a corner. It's like, I want it by the front door. People come in and they will go and get a photo because, hey, let's get a photo while we're here together. We're all together. It's been a while. Perfect. They get a photo. If they pull somebody or they see somebody they've not seen for a while, let's get a photo. All these photos are memories that people are having. Now, the bits that I sweat the small stuff about is people might not even notice, but the nights you come in, the theme nights of the venues, those images on the photo booth change every day.
Oh, okay. They know that.
Exactly. People don't. If you come in on Mixology Friday, it's black with the Mixology logo and Labyrinth and then the information on it. If you come in on Glam, it's got the cat on it and all the Glam theme in. So all those photos are different themed.
Yes.
But that means that people always go back and have different ones. So if they've got them on the wall, it's not, oh, you're always in Labyrinth. It's, look at all these events we've been to. So it's just using my own experience of what I would like to then offer that to my customers coming here.
So what I've heard so far is listen,
actually do stuff, promise on your word. This is the thing for me. If I have somebody who's underage who tries to come in, we have to confiscate their ID from them because it's fraud. And I have this little patter thing that I do with them, which is like, look, I am really sorry and I understand, but we can't let you have the ID because one of the licensing objectives is to protect your children from harm, and also it is fraud acts and everything, but not make them feel that they've been caught, but not make them feel that they're like, sometimes I'm a bit harsher and I'm being like, right, I'm going to get the police because they're being an idiot. But most of the time it's like, okay, look, when you're 18, come back. Have your 18th birthday party with your friends here. I'll buy you your first drink. Okay? And the amount of people who've said to me, yeah, you won't though, will you? And then they're so surprised when they come back. And they go, it's my birthday and I tried to come in when I was underage and you said you'd buy me my first drink. I'm like, come on then, let me get to the bar and buy you your first legal drink then. Like, it's brilliant. I have 17-year-olds that are coming here for their 18th birthday and they go, oh yeah, but it's 10 to midnight, I can come in now. I make them wait out there until they're legal on the second. But I'll get a party popper and be like, then get everyone to sing happy birthday on the queue to make something of it because they have chosen to spend that momentous occasion of turning 18 actually at my venue.
Yes.
So I'm proud of that. They'll always remember that. So why make it a bad memory for them? But on the flip side of it, just because it's their birthday doesn't mean I'm going to give them everything free. On my birthday, I've never had anything from Sainsbury's. I've never had free this, free that, or anything.
Yeah.
But because I've got a club, I'm meant to give everybody freebies.
Yeah.
That makes me sad.
Yeah, people expect freebies.
They really do.
A lot of freebies.
It's my birthday. What am I going to get?
Yeah.
Older.
Yeah, you're gonna get to pay entry.
Yeah, I do. I mean, I try and make things as happy and enjoyable and that, and I want people to continue to come, but book in advance. If they book in advance, then I'll do things and make it there. But otherwise, there's nothing stops somebody sticking a name badge, a birthday badge on, and coming out and going, it's my birthday, and they have 6 birthdays a year at 4 different clubs. Then we're all losing money, and then clubs fail even more.
Yeah.
And that's just the business brass tacks of it.
Yeah, I guess. So you said listen. The second thing was
actually be honest and do what you're going to do.
Do what you're going to do. And I think
Yep.
the third thing you said was sweat the small stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Literally think about the little things. We're sat in the booth here.
Yes.
Okay. It's clean.
Yeah, it looks very clean to be
Yep.
honest. Yeah.
I wouldn't be sat on it if it was dirty.
Yeah.
Now, has somebody probably vomited on this in the past couple of months? Most likely.
Most likely.
Does it smell sicky?
Doesn't smell sleep.
Because we have amazing cleaners for a start, but also
Yeah.
you know, they will come in and they will clean stuff down. The team in the evenings will clean stuff straight away, so it's not getting embedded and dirty.
Yeah.
You know, I could close the doors, go away, and then come back. You know, like at end of the night, Saturday night, go, come back in Monday morning, then start cleaning.
Yeah.
And you got to really scrub and clean and that. Get it done straight away when the rubbish there. Stay on top of it throughout the night.
Yeah.
Be proud of the venue. Be proud of who you are. Be proud of everything you do in life.
Nice, yeah. Totally agree with that. And I will say, I know how sticky it can get after a night. Yeah, it really does look very clean.
Yeah. Well, you know my tip about how to avoid sticky hands with it, because I use hand sanitizer all the time.
Yeah.
And I always used to find that everyone would go into my office and steal a hand sanitizer.
Yeah.
Security, mainly. Always hand sanitizer on that. So I made a label and I put on the front of it penis juice. I tell you now, there's no manly security guard that will take a carton of penis juice upstairs on the front door or anywhere. And I have now, that has been on my shelf. I'll share a still photo of it for you so you can share that with everyone.
Thank you. I was kind of hoping you would bring up that story.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
You know me, open book. I'll tell you anything.
Yeah, thank you. One other thing I'm interested in is, again, you've operated this nightclub for a while, and one of the things that you keep saying every now and again is the team you have, you're proud of them.
Yeah.
Most of them, I will say most of the people who I've seen work at this club, they tend to stay for a long period of time. There are people who've stayed here since you opened.
Absolutely.
And there are people, obviously,
but they've been promoted through.
Yes.
So, prime example, you know, I'll mention both by name because I'm sure they'll be embarrassed, but I don't care. Sam, who is my assistant manager.
Yes.
I don't remember him joining the business.
Okay.
So, don't remember his interview. Don't remember. He literally, just one day, I was in the office and he walked in and started talking to me about the apprenticeships.
Yeah.
And said, I've been working here for a couple of weeks now. And I'm thinking, I don't know who this is. So I don't know whether I'd been on holiday, my old deputy had hired him, or he just completely slipped through my net. And I'm like, okay. And he just said, I want to be an apprentice. Mm-hmm. He said, I've researched this and I've done this. I think he said he'd started here like the week of his 18th birthday.
Oh, okay. Well done.
He's now my assistant manager.
Yeah.
Okay. So he's been with me for 2 years, maybe 3 years nearly. But this kid has worked his way through.
Yeah.
He hadn't done his GCSEs.
Yeah.
He didn't drive. His mum was picking him up from work at like 5, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And then driving half hour. Then her going to work herself.
Yes.
She was revolving her life around everything. Now, this kid that I knew nothing about, through listening to what he wanted, working with him, developing, bullying him to be like, you could be better, we could do this, come on, like. He now is a senior member of salaried staff,
Yes.
passed his driving test, personal licence, first aid trained. He is doing stock control and everything. He did his maths GCSE, he did his English GCSE, he got his GCSE qualifications, he passed his apprenticeship accreditations. Mm-hmm. He's got qualifications and skills that will see him through for life. Absolutely no common sense, but he's got everything else there with it. And I would trust him.
Yeah.
Well, I do trust him with my business. He's phenomenal with it. But he's been with me for a number of years.
Yeah.
Then Ella, who's my other assistant manager,
Yeah.
she started virtually day one.
Yeah.
She then left to go and work at another club, and then came back to us because she's like, they're not doing what you do. That club's no longer open.
Yeah.
But she came back a long time before that even closed. And I had an opportunity to bring on a designate, so somebody who was going to train to be an assistant manager.
Yeah.
And there were a couple of other people that I was like, okay, maybe I can work with them on it. But I'd listened to her and I'd seen what she was doing, and I just knew that she would complement Sam perfectly, but also being that voice to me who can say no to me. Because I need that in life. I need somebody that will say yes and somebody that says no. I don't surround myself with people who say yes, because that's not the way to be. You need that feedback from people in different eyes, younger eyes, specialist eyes. And I'm so proud of what she's achieved, because she's got her own place, got a fella, got a dog, got her, like, just sorted out with it. But they both have, within this company, if they want career paths and this is the path they want to take, they've got that. But they're also, to the people behind, you know, the people that come in as team members, they can see that they can go on that path as well if they want to. But I'm also so blunt and honest with people. When they apply to work here, I send an email back to everybody who applies. Everyone who applies, because if you've taken the time to apply, I will take the time to reply back to you. But there's a thing that's like, working in a nightclub is difficult. You are sober when your friends may be drunk. You are having to make decisions that are affecting safety. You have responsibilities. And I outline it all out. You will work late hours. If this is not for you, I wish you all the best in what you're going to do. If you think this might be something, come in, let's have a chat.
Fair response. And I think, from my experience, it's quite frustrating when you apply to someone for a company, and then they don't take the time to let you know what the next step is, or even, right, we're not going to hire you, we don't want to proceed with you because we don't like something in your CV, or you're not the perfect fit, you're not a good fit for us. And I've seen that they take a while to reply, and I think from what you're saying, it's a really good thing that you're taking the time, you're putting the time to reply to them because they've put in the time to apply for you.
But then I also am totally blunt with people, because I do have students. But with the respect thing that I do for them, one is I make sure that their rota is done up to a year in advance. They choose the hours they can or want to work. I don't turn around on a Sunday night and go, there's your rota, and oh, you're working tomorrow. And then them going, but I've got plans. They have lives. They have study times. If they need to block periods off, block it off. My caveat is you give me 2 weeks notice of your hours, and then it's locked. Because I think 2 weeks from, like, if you say to me, I can work Monday, Tuesday for the next 2 weeks, Monday, Tuesday, you're in. But if you turn around and say, right, I can't work Monday now because I'm like, hang on a minute, I've given you the flexibility and the respect for you to choose what you do. So it's a two-way street with it. And
absolutely.
It's about managing without managing. Let people self-manage, because then you turn around and go, hang on a minute, you gave me your hours, you told me you were available, I've given you your uniform, why can't you wear it? I've paid you, why do you think that you can just sit down and do nothing? It's about giving people the skills to set themselves up for their own success. But I do say to people, look, if this isn't a career for you and it's a stopgap, I have no problem with that. You know, if you want to be here to learn skills of how to work a bar, so as you can go off to Australia and travel around and be able to work doing it, fine. You be honest with me, I'll be honest with you. That's it.
And this is a really interesting thing. So I want to stick on this for a second. So people come and go, people come and stay. On one side, could you tell me 3 things that you really like, that you've seen people do that work with you in the team?
Be themselves.
Be themselves.
Personality is everything.
Yeah.
So we have got a huge mixed bag of people here.
Yeah.
And there's, I mean, in the nightclub industry, I mean, I get accused of being misogynistic, sexist, racist, homophobic, xenophobic, everything.
The whole list.
Okay, and I couldn't give a shit.
Yeah.
Like, people are people.
Yeah.
You're you, I'm me, blah. And it's the same with the team. Actually, in the washrooms and that we've got, and in my office, I've actually got a sign. It's the ethos I go around, which is, you are unique, you are yourself, you matter, you are loved.
Yes, I've seen that.
You've seen it, yeah. So, and that is how I feel. I don't care if somebody's coming in with tattoos, blue hair, one ear, whatever it might be. Like, they could come in being overweight, underweight, perfect weight, ripped, male, female, other. They could be however they describe themselves. I don't care. Can you, as a human being, give good customer service to the people who choose to come here? That's it.
That's it.
That is the interview. Can you be yourself and do this job? If yes, welcome with loving arms. If you can't be asked to serve somebody, or you yourself have projections where you don't want to serve someone because they are not what you see,
Yeah.
go somewhere else. That's it.
I think those three things could be summarized to yes, be yourself.
Yeah.
On the other side, you've had people in the work for you, work within the team. What are some things that you've seen that you didn't like, or maybe even some things you don't like now with your team? If somebody's in a bad mood, Yeah.
don't take it out on the people that have come out to have a good time.
Yeah.
Okay, don't be like, I hate that. If you can't be bothered to work and serve somebody, don't.
Yeah.
That I hate that. I hate people that will not support the team. So if somebody's hiding out, having a break, or having a 40-minute break when they're meant to be on a 20-minute break,
Yeah.
or somebody's coming in to cover breaks and they're coming in 11 till 2, let's say, because they've chosen to do that, but then they go for a 20-minute break. That, it's about that respect side of it. Have respect for the people. I've used the word staff a couple of times tonight to identify that for your audience, but here I use the word team.
Yes.
All the time, because if you have a staff member, then they are regimented as into what they have to do, blah, blah. If you have a team member, everyone works together to get the job done. And you'll notice, for anybody who comes into this venue specifically, before we start work every evening, have a pre-service brief.
Yes,
So,
I remember that.
Yep, just before we open, everybody will get together, and that is security, the medic, DJs, management, supervisors, team members. We all get together, and this is what we're doing tonight, this is what we got on. Is there anything anybody needs? Anybody really unhappy with where their allocation is? Because we also don't always say, right, you are on that bar, that is your till, because people get bored.
Yeah.
They might be on glass wash, they might be on floor, they might be on cloakroom, because then everyone gets those skills, and they're transferable skills. Some people turn around and they will be like, I really, really do not want to do this part of the job. Okay, fine. Let's work out. But if you're not going to do that bit because you just don't want to, because it's not the most glamorous bit of it, don't leave that onto your team to do it. I did an interview a number of years ago, and I actually made the comment on it that you are not a manager, and I believe this is in any kind of random thing, until you have cleaned human shit up out of a toilet and you've held a warm poo in your hand with a glove, and actually done that. Because I would never ever ask somebody to do something that I can't do myself.
Yeah.
Other than bending down, because I really struggle to lift stuff up. So a lot of times I'm like, can you pass me that, please? But that's just because of my back.
Yeah. So be fair. Don't bring your negativity, especially in a nightclub, because you're here
I
for the
love
people.
hunting out neg ferrets.
Neck fair. What are those?
A neg ferret. It's a negative ferret. Somebody that gets into your team and starts going around going, I don't like that. What do you think of that?
Yeah.
Because they're projecting.
Yeah.
And other people, like, they agree because they're just like, yeah, okay. If somebody's that person, I'm just being like, bye.
Yeah. You need to go.
Yeah, go.
Affects the culture.
Yep. I've if it's an analogy that somebody once said to me, and that was, if you had a cancer growing inside you, you'd have it removed, you'd have it cut out.
Yeah.
You're not going to sit there and, in every case with it, I'm generalizing, but you will do what you can to remove that from it,
Yeah.
because you don't want it to spread any further. And that's the same with negativity within the business, on any form of it, because negativity can come from all angles. I have my off days, and if I'm on an off day, I can be one of the most moodiest people ever. And I'll just say to the team, or say to anybody, or whatever it might be, even if I'm arguing, I say to my dad, I need some space. I actually just need time to me, because I have life. I go on holidays.
Yeah.
I have a dog. I will go home. I have friends. I have everything. You've got to have a life.
Yeah.
And you do work to live. You do not live to work. I preach that.
Yeah.
And actually, I have team members that go, can I do 6 nights this week? No.
You have to have a life.
You've got to have your downtime.
Yeah.
I understand you've got to earn money and you've got to make money.
Yeah.
But if you're working 6 nights a week,
Yeah.
you're going to resent what you're doing. You're not going to enjoy it. So you're going to then hate coming in. So I'm like, if you have to do it, I'm happy for you to do 5, but you'll do 2, break 3, or 3, break 2, or on, off. Just no.
Yes.
Because it brings other people down.
Yeah, and I agree with that, because if that happens, then they come in, they start resenting it, they start talking about it, and then they start breaking the culture. And as soon as that happens, it's going to keep happening. It's going to keep repeating itself, because they're in the state of them doing that, and then you have to make the tough call of you either go or something else, whether that's probation or something else. Yeah. So it's not good for them in the end. At the end, yeah.
And then you said the third thing, wasn't it? Yeah.
So you said be fair.
Yep.
Be fair to your teammates. Be fair to yourself. The second thing that you mentioned was when you come in, if you're sad, if you're upset, if you're angry, remember everyone's human, but you're here tonight. When you work now for the next couple of hours, you're here for the customers, you're here for 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds, 20-year-olds, whatever. So you're here for them, you're here to make their nights. So those are the 2 things you mentioned. And I think the third thing have you mentioned the third thing yet? Because I
Can't remember.
Well, that's absolutely fair enough. No, I think those two are important, are very important, I think. We've talked a lot about what jobs you've done.
Mm-hmm. Some of the jobs
you've done. There's so many, yeah. We've also talked about Labyrinth, we've talked about your team, we've talked about strategies, we've talked about what you like in your team, what you sometimes don't like. I guess going a bit into when we talked about the strategy, you said do the work, you said sweat the small stuff, and you said listen to people. What I want to know is, when you think about spotting opportunities, could you break down the process of how you go from spotting an opportunity and then go about implementing whatever it is you implement?
JFDI. Just fucking do it. Yeah.
Okay.
If you see something and you think that's going to benefit you,
Yeah.
just fucking do it.
Very simple. So I guess the first part of it, just fucking do it, that's the second part. The first part, what I want to know a bit is, obviously, with running a nightclub, there's always things you could be doing, there's always things you could look for. How do you go about looking for those things? Because you're a 43-year-old man.
I'm different with this.
You're different, okay.
This links directly to my mum.
Okay.
So my mum was non-verbal. So
Okay.
after she had her first major stroke,
Yeah.
she could actually only say 5 things, which was yes, no, nurse, nearly, and Nicholas.
Nicholas.
Yeah. Nicholas was a French exchange student that we had stay, and she just looked at him and went, Nicholas. Don't know how or why. Yes, no, nurse, nearly, Nicholas. That was it. I knew what she wanted. Like, I'd walk in, I'd be like, what's wrong? And she'd be like, yes. I'd be like, food? No. No. Right, okay, so you're hungry? No. Okay then, so what do you want for food then? No. Okay, and I'd be like listening to the tonality of it. She'd said no, but I was listening to what she was saying. I know it sounds stupid because she wasn't saying anything. And at the time when Mum had carers, they'd be like watching. I'd be like, oh God, really? And she'd be like, and I'd be like, I'd look at the carers and say, she wants beef curry and boiled rice. And she'd go, because she was frustrated as trying to say what she wanted.
Yeah.
But I knew. Don't know how. But I will walk into a room and I don't just use my eyes to look at something. I will smell, look, feel. I feel the vibes from rooms and how people are, groups of people, noise levels. There's so many little things that I pick up on, and I'll be looking around the room, and if I was here with you now and we were like just not doing this, I'd be like, okay, what needs to be done? And it's almost like I've taken a snapshot in my head of what I see, and that's just me, as perfection. And if that image I'm looking at isn't the perfect image I had, I'll spot that little difference as to what it is. But then if I think, that could be better. I mean, I've looked around now and I've seen 3 or 4 things. I'm like, right, that needs to be addressed when I get about a little bit of painting to be done. Some of the mirror bits over there need to be cleaned up. You know, there's things I noticed a bit of chewing gum that have been left by the cleaner on the side. But these little things just get lodged in here.
Yeah.
So I'll go around and all I'll do is I'll be like, right guys, these are the things I've noticed.
Yeah.
Would you all go around and have a look and see? And it's quite difficult sometimes for people to actually understand that I'm not expecting people to have that eye for detail that I've got. But the more things everybody deals with, the less things I then notice. And that's where the correlation is with my mum. That when I'm emotively feeling something, that's how I can just spot these things.
So let me ask you a follow-up question on that. So that's how you do it.
Yeah.
And I think it's a very interesting way.
I don't know how anybody else does it.
Yeah.
If that's what your next question would be with it.
No.
Okay, I was going to say.
No.
I look and I say to people, why did you not notice that?
Yeah.
Oh, I just didn't. I don't know why I do. Maybe that's my skill.
Maybe that's why you're skilled. Yeah, maybe that's why you're so...
Maybe that is my skill. I don't have any others, but maybe that's it.
I guess the follow-up question is, how would you say to someone like me, for example, I don't have your experience, you've got loads of experience.
I don't have your experience.
And you don't have my experience.
That's the difference.
That is the difference. But what I want to know is, if there's one thing you think, because at the end of the day, you think someone could do a job better, you think different things. So I guess what I want to know is, what's one thing I could do in this situation to spot things and then to just fucking do them?
But you have.
I have, probably.
And so, no, like you said, I have probably. So you've set up what you're doing here as what you want to do.
Yeah.
You've chosen your hobby as what you want to do. You've spot your niche, your area that you want to do. You've already started that. Why are you in England?
Oh, in England. Well, I'm in England because I want to go to university in England.
So, did you not spot that opportunity, and then you just fucking did it?
I guess I
Okay.
did, yeah.
Yeah. How many of your schoolmates in Romania? I wished I'd been able to go to university in England. They could have done. They still can. But you have done what you have done. And I've never sat there and been like, I wished I'd opened a Spanish restaurant in Burton-upon-Trent. Because I just fucking did it. I wish that I had gone to the Cannes Film Festival and met the owners of a film studio and then worked in film studios. Just fucking did it.
Just fucking did.
Like I said, all these opportunities, they come to you. I now know, my thing that I now know is that it's okay to just do everything. But if you are just doing everything to sample everything, you're never going to enjoy something. And a nice analogy that I heard a long time ago, that's something else I used. I took you a few years ago to a rugby match at a sponsor day that I'd sponsored. Do you remember that?
I remember that.
And I introduced you to a British buffet.
Yeah,
Do you remember the buffet table?
That. Yeah.
So when we had our paper plates,
yes,
and we went round and we had a little bit of everything,
yeah,
I was saying to you, try this,
yeah,
try that,
yeah,
things you'd never tried,
yeah,
and you were like, oh no. And I was like, no, try this. This is cheese and onion. This is like on a stick, cheese and pineapple. This is what we have. This is a mini quiche. You know, I introduce you to all these little things.
yeah.
Okay. Now, you can go through life sampling all these little bits and bobs.
Yeah.
Sampling little bits of partners, sampling little bits of people, sampling little bits of job. It's okay to taste things and try things, but you can't have that picky tea every day of the week. You can't have it all the time. You can't live off just saying, right, I'm only going to have sausage roll. For the rest of my life, I'm having sausage roll. You could turn around and say, not in the connotation that this comes out with, I like sausage, but you can turn around and then go, I like sausage roll, I like toad in the hole, I like, sausage ragu, I like all this. Take what you like and make it part of what you have every day. Make it part of what makes you happy. Just don't be caught down and saying you have to do things that way. If you're with a partner and you're not happy with them, thank you next. If you're staying with somebody for the sake of the kids, okay, your life is your life, your kids are your life, they're part of that person's life, part of that person's life. I can't begin to preach or understand that side of it, and I never would. But as an outsider, if you're unhappy, then change what you're doing. And that for me is the thing I'd say. Don't sit and think that you just got to have little bits. Variety is the spice of life. I wished, in some ways, I'd met a partner sooner that I'd stayed with, because I'm now 43, thinking, okay, I've never been married. Will I ever get married? This is an adventure that I'm going to hopefully have. But some other people I was at school with, they're on their second or third marriage. That's their life. Do you see what I'm trying to explain with it?
I think I do. And to be honest, I was going to ask you, what's one piece of advice you'd give to me? I think you just have.
Yeah.
Try things, and if you don't like something, move on.
Yeah.
Wherever that is.
Don't be afraid to fail fast.
Yes.
That's it. Because you learn by your mistakes.
Yeah.
I know so many ways to not run a company.
And it's because of that you now know how to run a company.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bus company, club.
Yeah, absolutely. And all the skills that I have learned, I apply into what I do now. But some of the skills the skills you have to have with yourself to be able to do it. You have to be able to say no.
Yeah.
And that is a real difficult thing for some people.
Yeah.
I struggle to say no because I want to make sure everyone's happy with it.
Yeah.
And I still struggle sometimes when people go, let's go for a drink. And I'm like, oh, go on then. Because I like the atmosphere of going out. I like being tipsy. I like actually waking up in the morning going, oh God, what did I say? What did I do?
Yeah.
Because that's me. That is who I am.
Yeah.
Do I have a drink problem? No. Did I have a drink problem? Yes. Will I have a drink problem in the future? No. Because I've got respect for me.
Yeah.
And I know who I am.
Mm-hmm.
I never used to.
You never used to?
No. I used to pretend to be what I wasn't. Now I know what I am. I know who I am. That's it.
Final question for me.
Okay.
What's one thing you hope to achieve, whether it's in your personal life, in business, whatever that is? What's one thing you wanna absolutely nail down?
So, for me, it's simple.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to fall in love.
Okay.
I want love. I want an ex. One of my first exes ever.
Yeah.
He said to me, "You want the moon on a stick."
Where the moon on a stick.
A stick.
A stick.
So imagine the moon.
Yeah.
On a stick.
On a stick.
I want that in my hand. As in, like, I want everything.
Mm-hmm.
I want the impossible.
Yeah.
And it always stuck me because I think it was a line from a film or something the reason he said it. But the reason it stuck me is it's so crazy that to think you want the moon on a stick because you want the impossible. I do want the impossible because I want the things that matter. Honesty, respect, love, happiness, friendship. That they are things that nobody can buy. Because you can buy sex, but you can't buy love. You can buy experiences, but you can't buy happiness. You can buy friends, but you'll never have friendship. You get what I'm pointing at with it.
Yeah.
I want in life, and I am one of the richest people in the world because of everything I've done, everything I am, and everything I will be. And I don't mean financially rich. Mm-hmm. I mean, like, life rich. And that is just, that's what makes me me. And that will never make me change.
So you want to fall in love?
Yeah, I do.
And on the back of that, what's stopping you?
Me. That's the difference. For me, it's a case of I will never, in my own eyes, be good enough for me. And there's whole things like how are you going to love somebody else if you can't love yourself? I love everything about who I am. I just don't love me. And I'll be totally honest with you, I'm having counselling for that. I have for a year or two. But that's my demon. That's my inner issue where I never, I mean, I do laugh with a lot of the people coming here because they go, I go, I'm 43. Like, you're not 43. You don't look 43. And my answer is always, takes a lot of money to be this ugly. But I mean, I'm currently having my teeth done at the moment, and I have Botox, I have fillers, I have had, I will do whatever it takes. I have the fat jab for losing weight with it. I've never taken good care of myself, but I'm getting to a point in life where I am, and if I could meet my personality, I'd be fine. But I don't find me attractive. And That's the difference. I need to find somebody that's obsessed with me as I am with chocolate.
So you give me a why, you give me a what.
I don't know how.
You don't know.
I don't know how. Honestly. And I think that if I keep being myself, and if I just keep doing what I'm doing, then, and if I'm not looking, then that's it. It'll just happen.
It'll just happen.
But I've been saying that for 30 years. Nearly 30 years. I'm not even bothered now. I've got a dog.
Your dog.
He cuddles. That's all I need.
That's all you need.
Yeah.
Cute dog.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. That's smart a lot, I'll tell you that.
And yeah, he's probably freezing to death in the office now.
Yeah, probably is. Well, John, thank you so much.